My name's Alex Warren. I am a technology PR professional and I'm the author of Techno-Utopia, How Optimism Ruined the Internet. FutureFest is running a competition at the moment where you have to do a sort of vlog talking about how you think we can occupy democracy and fix democracy. I think to me, if we're going to fix democracy, we need to fix the way that we consume information and the trust that we place in those institutions that inform our democratic decision making. You know, everyone talks about fake news as though it's something new, but the reality is that the media has always provided a fairly skewed view of the world. Those in power and influence have always had more of a say when it comes to shaping the news agenda. 10 years ago, blogging and citizen journalism and Web 2.0 was predicted to blow this system apart and really put power back into the hands of ordinary people. But the reality has been quite the opposite. You know, we've lost respect for those news institutions that really did their research, and the result has been more biased reporting, more fake news, and even less individual citizen control. As ever, we went too far the other way. You know, we embraced technology as a quick fix solution and forgot about everything that came before. We forgot about the importance of the traditional fourth estate, of journalism as a meaningful profession. Most of all, I think we forgot that not everyone can just pick up a smartphone and start a blog and suddenly be an effective journalist. The reality is that we need a middle ground. When it comes to information consumption, making informed decisions, we need both sides. We need trustworthy institutions that do their homework, but we as citizens, and I very purposefully use the word citizens rather than consumers, need to take responsibility for our own information consumption and always be skeptical when deciding what is and isn't a trustworthy news source.
Hi, my name's Kat Pierce and I'm going to discuss the question fixing our democracy and politics, my thoughts on revolutionising our systems and power structures. One of the greatest issues that affects our democratic process is the disconnect between what is discussed in Parliament and the people that these decisions affect in the UK at large. This begins with the language that's used, things like Brexit, deficits, all of this complicated economic language and financial language that ordinary people simply can't understand. These aren't words that exist in most people's vocabularies, yet they litter transcripts of debates in the House of Commons and the articles that are written in newspapers about them subsequently. Simpler terms are needed. I call for a ban on political and economic jargon. Unless these terms can be reasonably understood by the average voting member of the public, then they shouldn't be used. Without understanding what debates in Parliament mean, and what they therefore mean for us, we're actively excluded from democracy, shut out of discussions that affect our lives in very real ways. As well as a ban or limitation on excessive political jargon, I'd call for a basic political education to be injected into the curriculum. At the average UK state school, politics isn't even on the curriculum as an A-level subject. When it's taught at private and public schools, this sends the message that only a certain class of person should have the privilege of engaging in politics. A basic political education on matters such as political philosophy, the economy, voting structures would increase political engagement in young people and bolster a democracy that says that everyone's voice and opinion matters. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Galviz and I am one of the co-creators of a concept that started off online with the intention of taking, connections and networks that were online offline. What started off in June as a bit of fun turned into this huge movement. And what we started to realise 1 year later, having touched the lives of thousands of people across the world, is that people have a need of belonging and they need a sense of community. And as humans, we have an inherent need to connect, yet in our day and age, all we're doing is disconnecting. We imagine a world where there's less mental health due to issues such as loneliness and isolation, a world where we can connect with people based on passions and beliefs and interests, a world where we help each other, we empower each other, we inspire each other, whether that's with people that we know or people that we don't know, creating communities essentially across the world where we invite people to get offline and genuinely meet face to face and start to meet the people behind the profile. So I hope that in doing so and in creating these communities, which already exist in over 450 cities, in over 50 countries, is that one day we will have 2,000 of these communities and in over 200 countries. We want to make sure that people are connected. We're creating connection, whether that's connection with others, connection with ourselves, or connection with the world around us. In doing so, we fill our lives in a much more fruitful way, and hopefully we can bridge that human connection gap between technology, social media, and humans. Thank you.
Imagine you own a fantastically expensive piece of kit which does all kinds of wonderful things, but often it doesn't do what you want, it breaks down, and sometimes does crazy things like bomb Iraq. You spend about a third of your income on it, so it's probably the most expensive thing you'll ever buy, apart from housing. This kit is the democratic state. We all pay for it through taxes, but most people don't know how to make it do what they want, because they've not learned its operating system, which is politics. Wouldn't it be nice if politics was like Amazon? You could order the policies you want online and they'd arrive the next day. A brand new Brexit with just the right customs deal. If you don't like it, you could send it back. But politics is more like gardening than shopping. You need to plant and cultivate ideas with people who want different things. For many ideas at Nesta's FutureFest to flourish, you need political skill and knowledge as well as passion. So, to create a better future, I want every education institution and the BBC to help people learn how to do practical politics. That way, everyone can make the system solve problems that matter to them. When you pay for something as sophisticated as a democratic state, you need to know how to use it. And if you want to learn more, read my book on practical politics from the Institute of Education Press. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you at the FutureFest. Bye.
So, hi everyone, I'm Ebba Engström and I'm an MPA candidate at University College London, and today my topic is a mentally healthy world. So, as a student who's working both a job and having to think about my next steps, I feel a lot of stress. And I think a lot of people feel this pressure of having to know what they're going to do and having to keep busy. And I don't think it's good for us. So I would like to see governments take more initiative within the field of age structuring for institutions and for benefit programs. And the biggest, change or experimentation towards change that I would like to see done is within pension structures. Why is it that it's only socially acceptable to not work when in health, of course, or not be in training for the career you're going to be taking on after the set age of 65 or 70? And also, when we're seeing an aging society and also efforts being made towards postponing biological aging, shouldn't we be rethinking the system? So what I think would be very interesting to try out would be a system whereby, in accordance to an expected life expectancy of circa 90 years old, for 20 years you would have a pension. And from this pension, you could take years when you would want to and use them to just not work and not having to feel the pressure of, practicing or training for a job. And then you might ask, well, how are you going to fund this? Well, I would see a system whereby you have a universal basic income system pay for this kind of pension plan unless you have worked before, whereby you have a sort of pension plan built up. Now, this is a massive restructuring and a massive thought idea, but I think it could have a high impact for happiness in our world. So that's my idea. Thank you.